let the dogs out. Ho, 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 or woo.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
werewolves, dog soldiers. We're Flipper Flicks. I'm Adam. Yay!
Wow, you already spoiled the
All
movie.
right.
I didn't mean to. Bye.
Just kidding. If people click on the episode, they know what the movie
Yeah, that's
is.
true.
Right.
Unless you're like randomly listening. I wonder if there's ever a shuffle feature for podcasts.
I don't know that there's a shuffle, but it does autoplay episodes. So in
Backwards.
theory, yeah, you could have it like on the counter while you're cooking or something. And
Listening to
then
Flipper Flicks.
listen to Flipper Flicks, and then we'd just be talking. And so I don't know. We always bury the lead on what movie it is, but I respect that you come out and say it sometimes. You're like, fuck it.
Fuck it.
Well, I'm Sam. And as Adam said, we are Flipper Flicks. We are a movie review podcast. Review being light, a light
She
term.
told us she said what we are.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know we did that these days.
I know, right? Well, trying to help people out here. We are here every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, dropping you new episodes. And you can catch them on any of the regular podcasting platforms, so Spotify, Apple, Google. Sometimes we put stuff on YouTube, but that's a manual effort. So anything that's a manual effort usually doesn't go over well for us, like social media. We're on Instagram and Twitter, and sometimes we're there, sometimes we're not. When we are there, it's really cool because we'll give you some nice previews of what we're talking about or some nice sound bites to get you guys hyped for the episodes. But when we're not there, it's because we don't want to be. And
Or forget to be.
yeah, either way. Let's see. We also have a website, flipperflix.com, and that's where you can
Oh.
recommend movies for us. We're not necessarily running low, but going into a new season, we always like to have options. So
We're on the back half here.
yeah, feel free to add some on there, or you can DM us. We will respond to DMs. I should say that. Like, we won't just ghost people. Like,
if you come at me.
if you actually talked to us, we will respond. But if we're just yelling into the world, we kind of stop that. Is that it?
Did you say the time?
I think so.
I think you said that.
I did.
I zoned out for a second.
Done.
She did it.
Whoa.
Wait, Tim, what movie did we watch this week? Oh shit, I said your name too. I'm just spoiling fucking everything.
Spoiler alert.
Hi, my name's Tim, and
Welcome back,
we
Tim.
watched Dog Soldiers.
All information I've said so far.
Wait, what
Yep.
category did you get?
So got dealer's choice, which seems like the greatest category, but at the end of the day, it actually makes it more difficult.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
so
very
much
hard.
harder.
It's very
It's so
difficult.
much-
So
like-
I went.
Go ahead, Tim.
I was just gonna say I went to my like top 100 list. I'm like, yeah, that could work. We watched that. Okay, yeah, that could work. I'm not in the mood for that. Like it's just a ton of shit in there. So I had like 5 or 6 films that I was like juggling around, and then like 2 of them that I was like, okay, probably these, which ended up being Dog Soldiers and fucking Deep Rising.
Yeah.
Ah.
I
so
think you
I
had
was,
told us
you know-
Deep Rising too. And you're like, no.
I did, yeah. I
Dog
originally
Soldiers.
told you Deep Rising, but then like so for the day, for like one day, I just spent time like going through not my top 100, but like just my lists on all those platforms and stuff, and then
Mhm.
like just kind of scrolling around on seeing what would pop up to see if I was like in the mood for something random, whatever. I watched Top Gun Maverick about 40 times this week.
Is that on a
watched or
streaming
had it
service or
on.
something?
Yeah, you have to buy it, but
Oh.
so
Ah.
and I've been on the fence about buying it for a while, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna ask people to spend $20, but I might have done that movie if so. But anyway, so that in theory or not theory in my heart probably would have been the movie just because it's out now and I think people need to see that movie, but especially if you've seen the first one. Anyway, so yeah, we ended up on Dog Soldiers. It was originally Deep Rising, but I feel like we've brought up and talked about Dog Soldiers too much to not.
not.
watch it.
I feel like you've also
Yeah.
brought up Deep Rising a lot too, though.
I do
Yeah.
like Deep Rising a lot. I think both films are to me hidden gems, but to other people they're probably just gonna laugh at it and be like, "What the fuck is this shit? This sci-fi era bullshit." But the sci-fi movies or whatever. I don't even know where I found the movie, but it's from 2001. It's an hour and 44 minutes long. Oh, I'm sorry, 2002 actually. I think
Yeah, I
it's
was like, I
published.
thought it was 02.
It's both. Yeah, I don't know.
It was
It's
probably
possibly just both.
made in so it's set in 2001. Let's say that.
Yeah, sure.
Based on
But
the new moon, but
it
based on the
has.
full moons. It literally,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Apparently, somebody investigated that shit.
What the fuck?
That's funny.
The internet's wild.
It's so weird.
I read random shit, guys.
It probably has one of the best synopsis I've ever seen for a movie.
I'm wondering if it's the one I saw because it was pretty good.
I mean, this is straight from Amazon for me. I just went ahead and bought it.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
I'm surprised I've never owned this movie. I've been buying movies now, but mostly on like people probably hate me for just like buying it on Amazon, but whatever. It's a service that's going to be around. It's not going anywhere, and it's fluid compared to like some other ones. But anyway, are you guys ready for the synopsis?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. See if I can get through it. Werewolves target a squad of soldiers. That's it. That's the synopsis. And I think it's fucking amazing.
Yeah. So the one on IMDb is a routine military exercise turns into a nightmare in the Scotland wilderness. It doesn't say a single thing about werewolves.
Nice.
Yeah, this is fucking great because that's the one I've seen before, and I feel like I've never seen this one, even though I just watched it on Amazon. I feel like this is a different synopsis than the one I just saw on Amazon. So I had to read this one because I thought it was fucking great.
So we actually rented it on Google Play.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So wanted to say that. I will say I
I
want
think
to.
it's in a lot of places, but
Before we got to our expectations, I wanted to say, yeah, we talked to people about our podcast and we've said like, oh yeah, we use a wheel to spin, and then we get a category and we had to pick out a movie based on like our stipulations. And everybody's like, oh my God, that sounds so much harder. I'm like, have you ever just tried to pick a movie for 3 people to watch?
Right.
Just any movie? That's so much harder.
Mm-hmm.
Because you feel like it's got to be a good, like it's got to be a really good pick.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do want to put a real quick plug in here as well that it's like $1.99 on Google Play to do the SD version and $2.99 for the HD.
They weren't shot with
Personally,
HD cameras.
I don't think it's worth the extra $1 to upgrade it. So just spend the $1.99.
There wasn't a difference in quality.
Yeah. Which is it's funny because like movies that old, like that's what you would expect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
right.
I don't know why we were
Go
like
with your gut.
HD.
Yeah. All right, Tim, expectation.
I mean, I've loved this movie ever since I first saw it. I don't know how many times I've actually seen it.
At least 5.
At least twice. We can say that.
At least 5, but
and Tim's a repeat watcher. He will watch
I
something
am a repeat
forever.
watcher. I'm not kidding how many times I've watched Top Gun Maverick this week.
I still want to know the count on V for Vendetta.
Yeah, that one's up there too. That's one of my highest watched films, I think. I don't know. I get on kicks when I watch something and it's available for me to watch over and over again. It ends up being I'll watch it, I'll turn it on randomly when I'm working on stuff, doing whatever. I'll sit down to eat and I'll watch it, and then I'll turn it in. It just becomes like a background noise. It's a lot like shows. Like I run through a series of shows very quickly that same way. Like I don't know how many times I've watched Always Sunny. So yeah, I intentionally watched both of these movies back to back, or not both of these movies. What am I saying? I intentionally watched this after something that I didn't want to watch. I don't know how to say that, but anyway, I basically wanted a new taste in my mouth of watching this before recording a podcast. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say besides I've watched this several times, and I'm always willing to sit down and watch this movie. I love this movie.
I get that. There's definitely movies for me that I have that I could do that. Like Lord of the Rings, I'll sit down. I know that's like 9 hours, 12 hours, depending on 12 hours. It's 12. It's not 9.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always game to watch that. So like I have movies in that world too. I don't want to speak for Sam, but I know I believe she has some that she goes to sleep to. That she's like trained her body to go to sleep to.
It's wild.
I don't think we do as much of the background noise though as you, Tim.
We usually put on music instead.
Yeah, we're music people in that regard.
I'm definitely not a music person.
Like, yeah, we hit like 40. Like my Spotify, which our car defaults to my phone, and we hit like what 44,000 minutes of listening to music every year.
Mm-hmm.
That's just on one account. Sam has another account, so it's really like it's a lot. We listen to music constantly. So.
Did you do your expectations?
So my expectations of this film, Dog Soldiers, was I don't know. It was an early 2000s movie, so like the CGI world wasn't there. I've seen a picture of the werewolf. I had seen that before I watched it, so I was like, okay, so they're not going CGI, they're going prosthetic.
Mm-hmm.
So I was excited about that. I like watching prosthetics a lot more, especially in like this day and age. Sometimes I don't know why I just do. I think it's part of the art of the prosthetic, because I know Sam's a huge fan of that Face Off show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and just watching them be able to do that is insane. So I was interested in that, and we've seen another film by this guy before, the director / writer for this movie before, so I was interested in seeing how different it was from that one. But yeah, I was just kind of ready.
Nice.
Watch a werewolf. I knew it was going to be a werewolf movie.
Oh yeah.
I knew about that. I didn't know it was in Scotland.
Yeah.
So that was a surprise.
Nice.
How about you, Sam?
Well, I was a little salty because I didn't know it was a werewolf movie until you
Really?
showed me a picture of the werewolf, and so I was like, "What the fuck, man?" Like, I feel like, and I continued to be a little bit salty throughout the first half of the movie because they don't make it readily apparent that it is, and so I was like, "These fuckers ruined it for me." But I was excited.
Wait, time out. The title "Dog Soldiers" doesn't scream werewolf to you?
Nope.
Okay. You've not seen the cover either, which has a wolf on it.
The cover looks like Small Soldiers, kind of, doesn't it?
No.
Like, it looks like not... Part of it looks comical. So this is why I was excited for it.
Absolutely.
Because part of it looks like it's going to be a big fat fucking joke. That's not the cover I've seen.
Oh.
There's one that looks like Small Soldiers. And I'm like, is this like some sort of joke film? And Tim loves it because it's a joke? Or is it like actually a good movie? Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of.
Oh, with all the werewolves on it?
Oh. Whatever. Anyway, I always zero in on their faces because it reminds me of like claymation and like weird shit. And I'm like, this has to be a joke film. So I was excited for that, but I'm always a little apprehensive of the early 2000s because that was like the reign of like shitty CGI if you didn't like put like effort into it, as we've seen through many movies. So I'm always like, ooh, like, is it gonna look really shitty? Is it gonna hold up? Because that was, I feel like, a time that like it was just bad for that. So I don't know. The title, the Small Soldiers cover, like.
I will say the director actually said he didn't want to use CGI because everybody was relying on it too much at that time. I think
that was a good move, personally, just launching into it. Yeah, I stand by that.
Yeah, so let's get into this 2002 Tim classic.
Yeah.
Spoilers if you've not seen it.
It's from 2002, though.
It's from 2002.
It is from 2002,
I expect a lot of people to have not seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've not. I only know it because of you.
Exactly. I hadn't heard of it.
Yeah. I don't even know how I first stumbled across it. Or okay, no, I'm obsessed with werewolves, so never mind.
Wait,
I know how I found it. I found it randomly.
Werewolf movie. That like I just
the guy
just
the
Google
guy
that
that,
probably when I was
the guy
like a
that
kid.
convinced people at work that there was a werewolf underneath the roller coaster's like ride queue.
Yeah.
I don't know if they believed you, but they always were like,
they believe,
yeah, they totally believed him. The Beast of Bray Road, is that what it was called, Tim?
That's the one that lives up. Yeah, that was in Wisconsin.
Why do I remember these things?
Because he talks about them all the time.
That's true.
Like if you think about like people's like party tricks or party facts, like Tim's are werewolves.
Yeah, like
yeah,
mine is random. Tim is werewolf. What's yours, Sam?
I have no idea.
You think on that.
It's a wildebeest fact.
So
wildebeest.
So here's the thing. Have we seen Tim at a full moon before?
No.
I don't know if we have.
Yeah, I hide. I don't.
Do you do like the Lupin method where like Remus Lupin from Harry Potter where you like So do it so you don't harm your friends.
He just puts on his cape and then nobody can tell.
Perfect.
No.
No, but I didn't know this movie was set in Scotland. And then at the very beginning, he's like doing a special ops, like trying to survive.
I was so confused.
It kind of put you in a weird spot.
Yeah.
And
Great
then
job.
I was like, oh, what's the Onion Knight doing in this movie?
Yeah, he's great.
And
He's a dickhead.
and then he shoots a dog, and I was like, oh, I thought it was gonna be a blank.
Yeah, why do they always make that part of the training? Like, you gotta kill a dog.
It's an
I
English
don't know.
thing.
It's
It is an English thing,
weird.
apparently.
The only other
Well,
movie I know about is Kingsman.
That's what I was thinking.
It's also that they're just running around and he puts that gun to that guy's head.
Yeah.
It's like, I thought this was a training exercise. And he
Right.
beat the shit out of some dudes first. It's like, well, yeah,
Yeah.
whatever.
It was an interesting thing. Then you see him put down the dog, and then it comes up with like that classic like title screen of dog soldiers. So you're like, is it like dogs? Is this like training dogs movie? Because like the guy was upset
Right.
that like the dog got killed, so he's gonna train a bunch of dogs to be soldiers.
Right.
What does this title mean? I thought it
I'm
was
kidding about
like,
that.
I don't know. I knew the werewolves because you guys spoiled that for me, but also like, which I'm still salty about clearly, but also like, I don't know. I kind of thought what you said too of like, oh, is it gonna when it first drops you in, like, yes, you have your campers with your werewolf getting slashed, which is like what I would say would be like a typical werewolf start of
Yeah.
a movie. But
Yeah.
then like the soldiers thing kind of throws you off. So you're like, oh, is this gonna just be like a soldier movie? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah. Now, Tim, you've seen this half a dozen times at least. Have you ever noticed that the sergeant comes down and he's like, we're going to leave in 3 minutes. Like, right? Like we got 3 minutes and then we're going to head out.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, if you time it from when he says that to the exact moment they leave, it's exactly 3 minutes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I was
That's
like-
awesome. You're making me like this movie more.
Well, no, that's the whole thing. I'm going to just make you love this movie more.
Because it's just a bunch of funny shit like that.
It's like, it's well done in that respect. It's like, it's for sure
Yeah.
like the guy, the director, Neil Marshall, not Gaiman. Oh, it's wrong. Neil Marshall, like really put his time in on it, and like a lot of effort went into it. So regardless of anything, you got to respect the game.
Yeah. Well, and I will say, like, it's very, like, it felt to me like a bunch of dudes got together and they were like, they made it because they, like, wanted to make it, if that makes sense. Like, it feels like somebody that, like, wrote it, had a hand in it, got his friends to be on board with it. Like, it's not like your typical, like, movie blockbuster. Like, it's not
Hollywood. Like,
yeah, it screamed to me like more of like, and I think even the camera work reminds me of like almost like a bunch of buddies got together, because like it's not anything spectacular, you know what I mean? Like it looks kind of like filmy and old, and that could have been what they were going for, or it could have just been they didn't have the budget. But go ahead, Tim.
I think that's part of it. It's like budget, but you could tell like at parts of it, it just like they're just doing random things. Like it's not scripted. Like parts in the house, which most of it's in the house, they're just kind of like throwing shit around or like grabbing random things. Or like, like some of the scenes feel like they're just kind of like, okay, you're being chased here, go into here and do something, and they just they just do it. They're like, yeah, that works.
Defend yourself.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. It's irritating.
Yeah, well, and the house is so dark too. Like,
I can't see shit.
Yeah, there was parts where I'm like, God damn it, I can't see anything. Like, so that's what made me think like it's just a bunch of guys, or like it doesn't even have to be dudes, but just a bunch of friends got together and they're like, we're gonna make this movie.
In this
and we
case,
don't
it
even
is a
care.
bunch of dudes.
Yeah.
In this case, you can say dudes.
Yeah,
Dude.
it
Plus
felt
Megan.
that way.
Plus Megan.
But I didn't want to be rude.
No, I get that. I will say I was not expecting a flying cow.
Yeah, that was wild.
Didn't know cows could fly.
Out of nowhere.
Because I was so confused as to what the fuck just flew.
Yeah. Well, and I was expecting like, so at this point you had really only seen the werewolf like once to do the campers maybe. You hadn't seen him much. And so I was expecting like the cow cow flew down and you're like, what the fuck was that? And then I was expecting it to like pan up to like either the black and white, which I thought was cool how they showed like that was the werewolf, or like it would pan up to like the werewolf itself, and then it never did. So it's just like just got cows flying around, man.
What did you like the sergeant's story about how everybody's just doing like these normal conversations around a campfire? And he's like, yeah, and then Eddie, man.
Yeah, the Eddie story. I always remember the Eddie story.
He goes like real dark, and it's like, man, dude, we're just trying to.
It's great. I love that story.
Wait, what's the Eddie story?
Where his friend steps on a mine, blows up.
Oh yes,
his friend steps on an anti-tank mine, not just a mine.
Yeah,
like evaporation. Yeah. So basically, that's what he says. He basically evaporates Eddie. And
yeah.
And they had to scoop him up.
The piece, and then he's got the piece with the devil tattoo still on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the part I always remember.
Tim also has that devil tattoo. Same location.
If they had if they described it and stuff, I probably would have it.
I don't
they literally
think
just say like a laughing devil. Yeah. Maybe I should get that.
Go get the robot devil from Futurama.
True, that would be great. Ha ha ha! That's not him, is it?
No, that's more.
That's
of
the
Crazy Clamps guy. Not Clamps.
That's the guy.
He's got the scissors. Clamps is I'm gonna clamp you. Anyways,
I'm gonna clamp you.
That's Futurama. Ryan's like creepy. First off, do we think Ryan is his first name or last name?
First name.
Okay, because I was like,
seems weird.
Yeah, because I was like, normally like with military people talking last names, it feels like.
Mm-hmm. Maybe he's a two first name kind of
Maybe
person.
yeah, could be a weird last name, but yeah, it could be.
Ryan, I've heard of Ryan. Anyways, it's besides the point. He is like spying on them, so you're like, oh, okay, so special forces are just gonna kick their ass, and then they're gonna be like team up against these werewolves. Is where my head was at, and then the werewolves get him, and I'm like, oh, that sucks, bro.
Yeah,
but that's how he lost his fingers in Game of Thrones.
Yeah. What were your expectations with him getting like slashed? Did you
definitely thought I was gonna be just dead? I was like, oh man, because it's early enough. I don't know.
Yeah, and he looks like really pale and shit. Like he really doesn't look like he's gonna survive when they like find him. Yeah,
there was one quote. No, I'm like, they didn't react the way I would have. Ryan's like, there was only supposed to be one. Excuse me, like one wipe.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't ask. It's
Nobody cares. Yeah.
I'm sorry. What?
You said there's supposed to be one. There are multiple.
Yeah.
To use.
Yeah, they just keep saying like, he's just going on about something. It's like, what?
You're not curious as to what slashed him this much.
Yeah, nah, they don't care.
It's classified.
Yeah.
I was just like, come on, man.
Yeah, they weren't the smartest at times, because like before that even they were supposed to be in this drill, right? And they know they're supposed to be, and then they're all like whistling as a unit, and I'm
Dude,
like,
the whistling part was weird to me.
I'm like, you're gonna get found, like, come on now.
Right, like what is this drill that you're doing?
Yeah,
where you can whistle while you work.
Exactly, that doesn't make any
right
sense.
Like, aren't you supposed to practice certain skills and
like
stuff,
stealth?
and not just be running around like, yeah, exactly.
Sneaking into enemy territory like you're supposed to be doing. But then they eventually get attacked by the werewolf, and the sergeant's body, all his intestines come out.
That was so gross.
So, okay, eventually we're gonna fast forward. They super glue it together.
Yeah.
Did you know that surgeons don't care about where you put when they put their organs back in from like surgery?
Yeah,
it'll find a place.
Find their way back.
It's fucking
which
weird.
Is fucking wild.
Yeah, it's so weird.
I do love though that it looks like, I mean, it seems like your organs would not go back in, and he makes a comment like that too. He's like, it fit. It's like, well, it came
fit
out
before.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. He's like, nah. Like she's like shoving them in. They'll all fit back in. Don't worry about it. Like, we're not worried.
Like, they don't go and super glue them back together for a good, like, 10 minutes in the home.
Yeah, he's got his guts falling out for a while.
But straight up, when we first meet Megan, who you don't actually find her name out for, like, 20 more minutes.
Yeah, I thought you were joking that her name was Megan.
No, her name is Megan.
No.
They introduce themselves, like, 15 minutes once they're in the house. Anyways, I straight up wrote, I don't trust this lady. the moment they met her.
Don't trust her, man.
I was wondering.
She's
yeah.
convenient. She rolls up.
Yeah.
I don't
Just
trust
happens to be there.
convenience.
I mean, my red flag wasn't flying, but I could see why. She just rolls up and she knows everything and she's helping out. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And then they eventually talk about how there's like no good werewolf would have any silver in their house.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but they showed the silver dagger from the
Earlier,
beginning.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But my question was, why is it silver?
Mm-hmm.
Why not like
What do you mean?
platinum? Like, why doesn't iron damage werewolves?
Chief
History,
resident
man.
werewolf, go.
It's just how it works.
Okay.
Don't ask questions, okay?
Also-
it's just how magic works.
I'm curious. So one thing they could have done that they didn't think about is most mirrors from back in the day are actually laced with silver. It's why
Yeah.
vampires don't show up.
Why
in
they don't
mirrors.
show up. Yep.
So I'm wondering, you break that mirror that's upstairs. Could you have stabbed one?
Yeah, I remember you saying that, and I was like, oh, look at him thinking ahead. Because didn't they say the cottage was kind of old too?
Yeah.
Like the mirror
Yeah.
would
They've
have
been there for 200
yeah.
plus
family.
years.
Yeah, their family's been there forever. Yeah.
So it'd be a silvered back mirror.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You'd think so.
Yeah. They don't have. You would assume
But
they
no
didn't get a modern.
self-respecting werewolf would have.
Exactly.
Except they did. No, it's just funny. I was like, I'm overthinking it clearly, but I was just like, well, that's something a lot of people don't necessarily know about.
Yeah. And I don't know if this was in the home or at what point it is, but he's talking about how he like, I think it's Cooper. He's like talking about spiders and then women, and then he says like a spider woman or something, and I was like,
Yeah, no, he says,
what the
"What are you
fuck?"
afraid of?"
Spiders?
Women and
Spiders? Yeah.
Spider women.
yeah.
That was a really funny line.
I was like,
That
this
was
is great.
A lot of their banter was just pretty good. Like the sergeant had great lines the whole time.
Dude.
Like it was just a bunch of random banter, but it was
So-
great.
So apparently the sergeant, the actor, had a couple drinks before set one day. And he is like, hey, so like in this scene, my character's drunk, right? And he's like, yeah, he's
I love that.
like, okay, I might have a few more drinks. So the scene where he's like drunk acting, like getting his insides put back in,
Mhm.
super glued back together. He tells him to punch me. He's like, punch me.
Yeah.
Knock me out.
He punches him and he like falls over.
It was supposed to be a stage punch. Cooper missed and punched him in the nose, but the guy was so drunk he didn't feel it.
That's hilarious.
So we got back up and he was like, punch me, really.
Oh my god.
See,
yeah,
Tim,
I love
told
that
you,
scene.
I told you I'm just gonna make you love it more.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
It really is just a group of dudes that are like, you guys want to make a movie?
Yeah, pretty much.
I've decided that if guns aren't working, just switch to the axe and sword.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah, but then you have to get close up. Like what?
that's true.
It's interesting though because they cut the arm off of one of them,
Yes.
which is weird, right? Like that gonna grow back or what's going on here?
That's what I was saying. I was like, if I notice that the arm's not coming back, I'm gonna start hacking.
Yeah, I'm gonna start going to town. Like
Well, and they get their arms caught in a lot of things. Like
they do. Like
their
they constantly
arms
are
are
just have their
constantly
arms
coming in.
through.
Yeah.
We're too big to fit. Let's get
Pretty
the arms
much.
in.
Yeah.
Oh, but at one point they just keep yelling at Ryan to shut up. Shut up, Ryan. I'm like,
Oh
just,
yeah, constantly.
just
yeah.
gag him at that point. Just put something so he can't talk. Like,
Yeah.
why are you
Yeah.
why are you entertaining him?
Yeah. There were a couple of cool camera shots, I will say. Like there was one, I don't know if it was when the guy like got impaled by the tree cuz he like ran into it and then it pans to his eye and you see like the silhouette of the werewolf. Like that was a cool shot. And I liked how they did that. And then I don't know, there was something creepy about the black and white when it always kept showing the outside of the
Oh, like when
cottage
you went
and it
into
would like
Lycan vision.
yeah, it would like pan sideways. Like I was like, this is creepy. So I thought they did well with that. And they use smoke a lot. Like
Mhm.
the window blow out and you'll see like it will highlight the smoke coming in. And I was like, this is creepy.
Or like when they're in the
Mhm.
car
like they
and why was there a
tried.
werewolf in the car breathing?
Yeah, that was so weird. But like that was a good shot because you
It
just see the
was.
breath come by. But I
Yeah.
was like, why the fuck is he in the car?
I was confused as the
It
car.
It was a trap.
Yeah, it was.
It's
yeah,
a trap.
Well, like going back and looking back now, knowing Megan's a villain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's clearly a trap. But it's like at the time, like, why is there a werewolf in a car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought it was funny when he first got in the barn, like there was the werewolf just going to town on that one dude, and he just kind of like looks up and acknowledges him, and I was like, is he just gonna like let him just like chill there? But then of course he like
I want
comes
to know
after
who
him,
that
but-
was though.
I can't tell them apart outside
I
of
can't
Cooper,
either.
Sarge, and Ryan.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't think he was from their squad. He doesn't look familiar at all.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not sure. They only had their squad there though. Bruce,
I know.
Spoon, Joe, and Terry were the other 4 dudes.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
I was just laughing at one point. Like I called the Goldilocks situation
Mm-hmm.
real early on. I was like, "There's nobody here." Didn't they have food on the fire,
Yeah.
like
They
on the
did.
stove?
And they
Mhm.
said, "Oh, it looks like pork." Yeah, I'm sure that's pork.
Oh, somebody ate human.
Yeah, no, 100% that was
Yeah,
human.
that's 100% human. Yeah. So I was just like, yeah, it's a Goldilocks situation. Like I could feel it. It just
Yeah.
felt like Goldilocks and the 3 Bears.
Nice.
Did me saying that, Sam, like basically tell you it was?
Yeah, he's just be ruining this movie for me.
Yeah, I'm awful. Tim, I think you might be the same way because you like to guess films.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh yeah, Ryan's gonna turn into a werewolf.
Yeah.
Like, just watch. Or you'd be like, oh yeah,
Pretty
and the
much.
family's the werewolves. Like, just watch. And I was like,
Yeah.
damn it! I'm gonna go watch
It's
this
like-
by myself.
we watch movies sometimes, and like if it's supposed to be kind of like twisty,
Mm-hmm.
I knowingly won't say shit throughout the film, even though like I
Yeah.
probably have the film figured out. I won't say anything because I know it's not fun to be told the twist.
Oh yes, I'm Adam. I probably have the film figured out. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, Rihanna's told me multiple times she hates watching movies with me.
Yeah, so see, Tim's
'Cause
the
I will
same
say
way.
shit like that. I'm
Oh,
like, oh, did
man.
you see? I bet you this and it happens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I consciously like am like, okay, don't say that. Okay, don't say that.
All right, so we gotta watch movies together, and you guys gotta watch movies together. You guys
Yeah.
can theory craft, and we'll just be like, look at how nice this movie is.
Exactly. So yeah, no, I was catching stuff, but I did catch another quote. Jesus sausage.
What? I did not catch that one.
Wait,
Somebody
I
said
feel like I heard that, but
okay.
I can't.
It's a word. Sausage doesn't mean always the same thing in England. Like sausage is an endearing term in England.
Oh, okay.
Like if you watch Ted Lasso, Rebecca's mother calls her sausage, and
Mhm.
it's not like an offensive
weird.
thing. It's like darling.
Mm.
But to us, calling somebody a sausage
Just
is
like what?
I call
very
my dog
odd.
a sausage all the time,
Nice.
and it's definitely not endearing.
I know. So it's kind of like it's weird, right? Like Jesus sausage.
Oh
And
my
I think it
gosh.
was Sarge talking to Cooper.
That
'Cause,
would
like
make
he
sense.
yeah.
Speaking of, the pupper in this movie looked just like Eve.
The
So
the
cute.
border
Yeah.
collie.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
I love
oh.
collies.
And then I was theory crafting about Tim and being like, did he get Eve just
Because
because
he's
of
watched
the
Dog
in this
Soldiers so
movie?
much.
Yeah.
I was wondering if the dog was gonna be like one of the keys to like surviving. I mean, he helps at one point, but
Yeah.
Which is weird though, right?
yeah, like sudden, like
Because it's like the family's dog.
Yeah.
yeah, which makes way more sense why Megan was like petting it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like huddling next to her, but like then it attacked the other one.
Mhm.
Maybe it was her dog.
It might have been
but,
no, it
yeah,
might have been
she wanted
attacking
out.
Ryan,
Oh shit, you're probably right.
but
Didn't
the
know.
only reason I know which one Ryan is because he had
Right.
a sword
Exact-
through him.
Exactly.
The entire point of the sword was to know which one Ryan was.
Yeah, which is hilarious. I will say I was laughing a bunch because they just were destroying this house.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
Fuck this house.
That's what I mean by like I think they were just to go in there and do shit because they were just fucking tearing it apart. Anything they could grab or tear apart, they did.
They're basically like, you
I
need to
loved it.
survive. Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it would totally suck to get like boiling water to the face.
Oh, that was
I
hilarious.
was
Oh,
like,
it
oh
would.
my god, that'd be horrible. That'd put you out of commission for a little bit. I don't care if you're a werewolf. Just the sheer shock value of it,
The fuck is this?
right?
Oh, so what did you think of the werewolves like standing and whatnot. Like what? Because typically they use stunt doubles to do like the werewolves and shit. The director went out and got dancers because he wanted like their elegance, like they're like pulling their back up to like look taller because it's like a dancing thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that interesting that he did that.
It is interesting. I don't know that it showed through too well.
I wouldn't have been able to.
No.
It just
If anything, like that checks out that they're dancers because of their thunder thighs. I was like, dang, look at that.
Yeah,
that is true.
But I don't know. I guess technically, like now that you say that, like they do kind of like arch and stuff like that. So like, I guess that makes sense. But I mean, I was expecting more scenes of them kind of like looming over and like
hunching.
Kind of like I expected them to be because they were in the house the whole time. So I expected them to be in the house for the majority of the movie, and you'd see them like looming in the corner or something like that, and like they didn't
like hiding in the shadows and stuff.
Yeah, and they didn't do that
because she had to let them in.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is weird.
Yeah, like why couldn't they just get in earlier?
Yeah,
you had to be
maybe they didn't want to break. Maybe they didn't want to entirely trash their house.
Their house. Yeah, exactly. But
they're like, the windows are okay. We can replace those.
Yeah.
But let's not fuck up the doors too much.
Exactly. But the other thing with this is like they don't show them all that well, in my opinion.
They don't.
Like I was like, I feel like the reason the werewolves hold up for this film is that you kind of don't really get a good look at them. You know what I mean? Like you're constantly like cutting
100%.
away from them.
Less is more.
Yeah.
Yep,
and so
exactly.
like, I don't know, it's more silhouettes than anything. And like, you just didn't get a really good look at them. So it's hard to appreciate the dancer sort of thing when like you didn't see them that much.
Yeah. I don't know.
You saw them, but you didn't
No,
see them.
I like that aspect of it because like they're still there. You can see what they look like, but like they're not ruined by being flushed out by light and seeing every little aspect of them.
Yeah. Like I know that's partially why it was probably so dark.
Yeah,
Mhm.
probably.
Like I was like, I can't see shit.
I know. Same.
But I mean, that being said, like half of movies these days are just like, look at the Batman. Like it's so dark.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's like a Batman thing, but
Right.
movies are just dark a lot these days. So I did not understand. So at one point, when Megan's about to turn into a werewolf,
Sure.
she like goes on a rant about how she's a bitch and she's like head bitch and all women are bitches, and I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, that's kind of weird. I don't
Like,
I
what
don't
is the
understand
message
that
you're
piece.
trying to say there?
Right. Wait, what's going on here?
I
I think she's just trying to tell him not to
don't trust people.
because she's a fucking werewolf.
Yeah.
And so I think that's kind of the point of the scene. It's like he's kind of, they're
Yeah.
kind of like a little bit something going on there, and she's like, "Fuck off! I'm a werewolf.
Don't
You don't
like
want any of this."
just because I'm a woman doesn't mean you can trust me.
Right.
DTA, don't trust anyone.
True.
Yeah, I think she was just secretly trying to tell him like, "You can't trust me."
Yeah, and like it seemed like he was like the chosen one at one point. Like I'm gonna turn you.
Oh,
That's I got a weird vibe from her at one point,
maybe.
Hmm.
but I don't know. Sarge turned into one right at the last second.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he started to. I find it weird that they were just like blow them up, which is interesting, and it's kind of funny because if you see very quickly, there's a scene where one of the werewolves' heads blow.
Oh really?
Yeah, at the very end, then when he blows up the house, it like it shows a real quick scene of like the werewolf's head exploding.
I don't think I saw that.
Yeah, it's very quick, but it that's interesting that they can get killed that way, but it's also kind of cool. I don't know. It's just different, because they were getting injured the entire time, obviously severed limbs and stuff, but like the bullets hurt them. They just healed from it, I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't know if I liked that or not. And I still don't know if I did. Because I was like, it's kind of odd. But then at the same time, it's like, I mean, blowing things up works sometimes. So I don't know. It's just interesting because it's like a different approach, like you said, than like, it usually takes.
Now, okay.
And they did still go with the classic.
They did with the silver.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, the silver to
Would you
injure them and weaken them.
would you have been grotesqued if Spoon was ripped in half by 2 werewolves?
Who's Spoon?
One of the randos.
He
One,
was
not the
ripped.
randos. One of
The best character.
Is he the sprinter?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
He's the
originally,
bait.
yeah,
Okay.
his original death scene was him getting grabbed by 2 werewolves and ripped in half. But they're like, that's a little grotesque and might gross out our viewers. So they changed it. And I don't remember how he dies.
That's
They don't show it. He's in the kitchen fighting the one and the other one,
Oh, it's just assumed he died.
and he says, "I hope I give you the shits."
That was hilarious.
I love that part.
I probably would have been grossed out, but at the same time, it's funny. It's funny that they say that because, like, at the time, I'm sure that wasn't a norm, but like nowadays, it's like
It's not that weird.
people get ripped into all the time in the movies.
Oh,
now.
yeah. Now, and then speaking of gross stuff, they wanted to make a point that the dog was not actually pulling his intestine. He was pulling his bandages.
Mm-hmm.
But most viewers see it as his intestine. I thought it was
Yeah,
his
they do.
intestine.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird because it looks like it, and you're like, "That is that what's
There's
happening?" But
no
it's not,
way
actually.
he's not in like excruciating
Right.
pain.
I think that's
Or
why.
that those wouldn't tear.
Yeah, it's weird because when I was watching it, I was like, oh my God, it looks like his intestines, but I know it's the
Mhm.
bandages because like there's no way he wouldn't just be writhing in
Yeah.
pain. But then you're like, but is it? Because it's like not ripped yet. Like you literally just walked through my whole thought process of it. It's so weird because like
I
it
know.
looks like it, but not. It's weird.
It's weird, mate.
It's weird.
It's weird.
So there was a actual, technically a goof by that the character Cooper probably could have caught from Megan is when she said this house is isn't within like the closest place that has a telephone is 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing in Scotland is 4 hours away.
Oh.
Yeah, the island isn't that big.
That's
Everything's
funny.
within a 4-hour drive.
That's pretty funny.
That is funny.
Yeah, it's like, but us, we don't fucking know. Like, I mean, I can spend what in Florida, you can spend 12 hours and you still haven't made it through the state.
It's wild,
Yeah.
man.
So, Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
I have no more notes.
Megan annoyed me at times, and you guys are like, oh, no wonder. So I'll just go through that conversation right there. But there was, it's because
No
of,
wonder.
yeah, it's because of there were certain shots that they did of her, like, oh, I have a single drop of blood on my cheek. Let me wipe that, but not really wipe it. Or like, oh, let me pan in this moonlight over here. I don't know. So it wasn't necessarily the character herself as much as it was like the way that they were like showing her. That was like, this is dumb. Stop doing that.
They did a bunch of random stuff with her, like the part
Exactly.
where she cuts her hand on the glass.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was going to
And
be like shown
You
that
thought
she
it was going to
healed
come
it.
up later, yeah.
Yeah.
But later on, she doesn't have a bandage on.
Okay, so he actually has a reason for that.
Oh.
He was
Yeah.
planning to make a three-parter.
Oh.
It was gonna. I don't know. I don't know the full things. He's like, I'm planning a sequel and hoping to get a third too.
Nice.
And that was gonna play into it apparently. And then there was like, nah, let's not do that.
Interesting.
So, yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, and there were other scenes with her where she was like taking the pictures of them,
Yeah,
and that was annoying me. I was like, this is so annoying. But then
Yeah, the flash and stuff.
I really liked it at the end because the credits, it like showed the pictures, and I was like, okay, I give on that. That was a good use of
Mhm.
that, because if they didn't, I was like, that was dumb as shit. Like, I don't want to
Right.
watch her just like keep taking pictures. I thought that
yeah,
Right.
was
And they
annoying.
use those pictures to
proof.
show everybody.
And then
they
still
exist.
Germany lost 1-5 is
Yeah.
the main headline.
Yeah.
Yeah,
from their
that's
footy.
hilarious.
Which that's how it's like known that this movie is set in 2001 is that England beat Germany 1-5 and the months line up.
Oh, that's funny.
Like full moon months.
Mhm.
And I was like, that's
People
like-
did some research.
yeah, the director, writer.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Any other notes?
Not here.
Nope.
All right, let's get to the cast. Cooper is played by Kevin McKidd. He's in Train Spotting, so he's in that movie with Ewan McGregor. Isn't that? Yeah, he's in Train Spotting. Sergeant Wells is played by Sean Pertwee. He's in Event Horizon, which for some weird reason I feel like Tim you would like.
I've seen it. I do like it.
I don't know anything about it, but it just I think because
it's been a long time since I've seen it, but it's a space movie.
Yeah, apparently one of the corpses in the basement is a corpse, like one of the corpses from that movie.
Oh.
Just like they're sharing like random parts of sets. Megan is played by Emma Cleesby, and she's in Doomsday.
Nice.
Remember that title. Ryan is played by Liam Cunningham, Mr. Onion Knight himself.
Yeah.
He's also in a movie called Hunger. Apparently it did well. Or like it's rated well.
Nice.
Brucey. Bruce's character is named after Bruce Campbell. Campbell? I never know if it's pronounced Campbell or Campbell. But he's the actor that is in Ash vs. Evil, or like it's an older like 80s 70s I don't remember. It's an older horror comedy.
Okay.
Let's say
We
that.
believe you.
I'm gonna cut that to make it sound much better.
Ash versus the Evil Dead. Is that what we're talking
That guy, yes.
Yeah. I love that stuff.
So he's named after the character's named after that actor.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Spoon is named after a thing you
Eating
eat soup
utensil?
with.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I was gonna say because they call him Spooner too at times.
Yeah, that's Bruce is the only one that has like a backstory. But it just blended so well. But he's played by Darren Morfitt, and he's in Doomsday. Oh wait, I didn't say Bruce. Bruce is played by Thomas Locker, and he's in Cutthroat Island.
Okay.
But yeah, Spoon is in Doomsday. Joe is played by Chris Robson, and he's in Doomsday. Terry is played by Leslie Simpson, and he's in Doomsday. The director Neil Marshall did The Descent.
Oh.
And Doomsday. So Tim's theory on them just getting a bunch of guys that are friends
Yeah.
may or may not be accurate.
Yeah, exactly. That's funny.
Everybody's in Doomsday. God damn it. So this movie won 5 awards and it had 7 other nominations. I have no idea what they were, but it did win stuff, which is cool. The box office was £5 million.
Okay.
Don't know the conversion rate. And then, but the budget was £2.3 million. So it didn't bust.
Nice.
Boom. It doubled it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are all my notes. Tim, you've seen this like a half a dozen times. You bought the movie. Would you flip it on again? Like I don't know. You seemed a little on the edge. You seemed a little bit on the fence on this one.
It's funny because I was a little nervous now.
Oh wait. I gotta get to my my ratings.
Oh yes.
The critics gave it an 80%.
Okay.
The audience gave me a 404 error. IMDb gave it a 6.8 out of 10. Google with a 91%. And since audience didn't work, I went to Letterboxd and it has a 3.4 out of 5, which is a 6.8 out of 10.
There you go.
So anyways, Tim.
So Tim, you were like...
You were nervous.
You were nervous in the
I was
service.
nervous. It was like, it's old as poo-poo. But it really, I mean, isn't, but...
it's 20 years old. It's this
20 years old, and
anniversary.
it's the 2000s. So yeah, I was like, oh man, I don't remember any CGI necessarily.
Yeah,
I was like, I remember back in the day it being like a grainier film, sort of.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh man, this is gonna be rough to watch, I think. And I was, not upset by it at all. I think it held up, in my opinion, to my standards, like of the film. And if I was watching this for the first time now, I'd probably be a little more of a critic to it. But I would have been like, oh, it's just 2000s era. So no, absolutely flip this one on. I think it's a silly film. It's a good take on a werewolf film. I think people could enjoy it a lot. Especially if you like that kind of stuff. I don't know. I think it's worth the watch. So yeah, flip it on.
Nice.
Not it.
Okay.
We were just staring at each other.
I feel like we end up doing the same order a lot of times.
It's similar, yeah.
This one's tough because it's one of those ones where you know that you're gonna like have more enjoyment over talking about it than I did actually watching it. It's not necessarily that it was poorly done. It's just that I found at certain times I was like, God, this feels very similar to what they just did 5 minutes ago. And so it's one of those ones where I feel like if they would just edit it down just a little bit, I would have liked it better. Because like there's a lot of like dull time in the house, in my opinion. Not necessarily dull, like shit's happening, but it's the same shit that we saw 5 minutes ago.
Stuff,
yeah. And so like if I look at it the perspective of like, oh, it's a bunch of like friends that got together and they just wanted to make a movie and they like just threw their whatever into it, whatever budget they had, like it definitely gives you that feel and that's nice. But then at the same time, you're kind of like, it might have helped to have an extra person not from your group. So I don't know.
Right.
I'm not going to flip it on, but it's a fun movie. Like Tim's not wrong about that. There's some parts where you're like, what the fuck? Like, but like in a good way. So
right.
I don't know. I would say like, don't necessarily let my opinion scare you away.
It's not up your genre typically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I would say why not flip it on?
Yeah.
Like it's fun. I like werewolves. In a shocking turn of events, I've hung out with Tim for long enough to enjoy. Actually, no, I think I've always liked werewolves myself.
Yeah.
Like Van Helsing, similar era. Loved that movie. It has werewolves in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the prosthetics hold up. And like,
it does.
There's some good, like I said, there's some good shots and there's some good stuff in it for sure. So I can see you guys' perspective.
And my only complaint is it's dark, and I understand why they make it dark, but I'm like, I can't see shit.
Yeah,
I can't see shit, and I can't tell them apart.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Outside of Sergeant Cooper, I was like, one of them, I couldn't tell you which one was which.
Yeah.
But that it didn't matter enough for me.
Yeah.
For that. But yeah, I had fun. So why not?
Yeah.
Moving on to next week, we're getting to a smaller wheel.
Ooh.
So I'm going to go ahead and spin it. Let's see if Sam can see past my head.
No.
I have a giant head. It's brown.
Ta-da!
It is brown. Adapt or die. Dang, I just picked this.
You just did.
God
All right.
damn it.
So maybe I'll die this week. We'll see.
Oh.
We will see.
All right. I'll look for another adapted screenplay.
Why the hell are you talking? It's my turn.
You look for another adapted screenplay. Didn't you also do an adapt or die?
No.
Yeah, you did.
Have I?
Yeah.
Maybe. Who knows?
You have.
Okay.
I don't remember what it was.
Somebody did one. 2 people have done one.
You did it. I know you did.
Whoa.
Oh.